Is it time to upgrade that resume template that you've been using? If you're like most people, you're probably using a resume template to put together your resume if you're writing it yourself. But is it time to upgrade that template? Most people trust their job prospects to graphic designers and don't even give it a second thought. And here's how it plays out. I've seen this happen so many times I can't even count it anymore. I find a job listing that I'm super excited about. I'm qualified for the role, and what is the first thing I do? I go to Google, I go to Canva, and I search for the best looking resume template I can find. I plug in all my information, and this thing is beautiful. I mean, if there was an Academy Award for a beautiful resume, it would probably win it. But then, when you send that resume out, nothing happens. You send it to a few more jobs, a few more companies, and crickets. You see, the designer of that template knew a lot about how to make something beautiful. But unless you're a graphic designer, that is not why people will interview you. Employers only interview other people when they read or hear words that make them want to interview you. I'm Cole Sperry, Principal Resume Writer at OptimResume.com, and I've been studying resumes for nearly a decade now. Some people even jokingly call me a resume scientist. I guess that's a cool way to put it if you're into science and all. And today, I want to talk about my 3 biggest beefs with resume templates out there on the market. Free ones and some of them that you even pay for. The first is columns. A lot of designers put fancy columns in their resume, but here's the problem. Not that columns are inherently bad or that you can't write this way, but the designer often doesn't think about how people read and retain information. For example, think about the last website that you went to on a computer. I guarantee you, every single time, you started in the top left, read across the header, and zigzagged back down the middle and started the process over again. Because that is how we read information. Your resume is no different. The reader's gonna start at the top left, scan across, and zigzag back down and keep zigzagging back and forth. So if you have your career path on one side and your skills on the other, or maybe your summary or hook on the other column, no matter how bad I want to keep reading your career path experience, your job history, I can't help myself. I'm going to glance over to the skills side. And then I'm going to read some more about your job history, and then I'm going to read your summary statement because that's how it's laid out. And here's the problem. You have to control the flow of information, the order, the timing, and delivery of that information. Like a good movie, if you put the climax at the beginning of the movie, no one's going to finish it. With your resume, if I read your hook after I've already read your skills and some other, quite frankly, somewhat boring sections that don't move the needle forward for you, that's a topic for a different video. But if I have to read your hook after your career path, your skills, your education, and everything else, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of a hook, doesn't it? So if you're going to use a template with columns, make sure it is logically laid out and that you are delivering information to the reader in the order that makes sense. Do they read your hook first? What's the next most important thing in your background? Is it your education? Maybe 50% of your peers don't have a bachelor degree. Well, your education, that's bought and paid for credibility that should probably elevate higher into your resume and be read sooner. But if that's not the case and you've got relevant career experience, your career experience should probably follow your hook. Think about how you're delivering the information and what order it comes in. Number 2, brain calories. Brain calories are a real thing. You and I only have so many brain calories to burn in a day, and if you make someone burn too many of them, they will shut down and stop whatever they're doing. And with most of these templates, you have to really pack in the information. Most of them are a 1-page template, and there's nothing wrong with writing 1 page. In fact, for many people, 1 page makes a lot of sense. However, if you're packing all that information into these text boxes and everything else because there's limited space because we're focusing on making it pretty, all of a sudden it becomes really, really dense and makes the reader spend too many brain calories. And what happens? They stop reading and they move on. Number 3 is text boxes. Most of these templates are designed to be user-friendly and not employer-friendly. Sure, it's really easy to plug and play your information into a nice fancy text box with some bullet points, etc. The problem is when that goes over to an employer in the ATS system, oftentimes many of these templates do not parse information very well into the database. All an ATS system is a digital filing cabinet. But the information has to parse from your resume into that ATS software. Otherwise, fields are empty, fields are missing. There's nothing worse than submitting your resume, being an incredibly qualified candidate. You're probably the candidate that should get this job. And when a recruiter looks at their list in their ATS of all the resumes, your name's missing, your email's missing, your phone number's missing, key pieces of information are missing, and so they never ever open up your resume. They just keep moving through them. And it's not that they're a bad recruiter. Some recruiters will come back and they'll manually put your information in. Absolutely. But there are some out there that won't. Not because they're bad at their job, but because they are trying to survive. They have 20 different openings that they're trying to recruit on, and they could have 200 applications per opening. 200 times 20, you do the math, it's a lot. In fact, it's almost unbearable. So they have to be really, really smart with their time. And often, if your information's missing, they're not gonna sit there and manually put it in. Don't lose job opportunities for silly things like your phone number and your name didn't parse. So right now, you're probably thinking about your resume, and if you did use a template, is your template have any of these components? And if you don't have a good resume template to start with, I'd be willing to bet you're probably missing 50% of the job opportunities that you're applying for with that resume, for these 3 reasons and many others that I haven't talked about. Maybe even more. So I'm gonna help you out. Instead of buying the next resume template that you find on the internet, I'm gonna propose a better solution that'll fix all your problems, have your template, give you everything you need to know what content to write and what to put in this thing. This is the same solution that Jason, an accounting manager, who last month applied this same solution to land himself a corporate controller position, so a promotion. He landed that within 30 days and got a 56% pay increase on top of that. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna throw in a freebie for you as well. So hang tight. Here's the plan. Get access to my Optim resume course and coaching for 1 full year. Watch the on-demand videos and plug in your content to my proven resume template. Yes, this comes with a template and everything you're going to need. And then start going on more interviews for jobs that you know you're qualified for. If you're not sure whether this course can help you because you've been burned before by another course, I'm gonna offer you an exclusive limited time opportunity to start the resume course absolutely free. Check it out, see what it's about. You'll notice right away that the way that I write resumes and the methodology and science that I teach is significantly different from most other resume writers. And for the next few weeks, you could check it out yourself, no strings attached. It's my free gift to you because no one should lose job opportunities because of a resume.